Your embers. Here. Close those out. All right, guys. So we're going to watch and react to this. This is Gear in the Machine Episode 2, gnasher damage values. I'm pretty sure I know most of this because, you know, your boy's connected. I know things. All right. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. Hold on. All right.
In this episode of Gear in the Machine, we're going to take a look at the gnasher damage values. We're going to go in depth into several of the different tunings, starting all the way back at the beta. We have competitive 2.1 up on the screen here, and we're just going to introduce you to some of the damage ranges so we have a frame of reference before we go look at the numbers. Let's go all the way back first. We're going to show me 1600 units. This is about 1600 units. You can sort of see how big the character is. He's sort of a little bit smaller than the reticle here. The bullets are, not all the bullets are going to hit him. We're about 1600 units away. So let's go to, say, 800 units away. So this is about 800 units away, give or take a little bit. You can see the drone fills now most of the reticle and sort of extends above and below it. And now let's get to 400 units away. So he's almost like 3 times the height, 4 times the height of the reticle, and he fills the whole reticle. Now we're gonna go up to, say, 256, which is just on the inside of gib range, and if you pull the trigger, he gibs, right? So now let's take a look at the numbers. What we've got here is a graph of distance to damage, and a person has 600 hit points on them, and that means that a 2-shot down is gonna be 300 damage, right? We're gonna start with Gears 3. What you can see here with the solid yellow line is the gnasher's damage fall off over distance. So remember we talked about 1600 units? That's the furthest distance roughly that the gnasher in Gears 3 was going to be able to do damage. It would do this much damage if you hit with every single pellet. You know, the bullets on a gnasher spread out over distance, so it's unlikely at this point that you're going to be hitting with every bullet, but
impossible.
If you did, this is how much damage you'd be doing. This is the curve from the Gears of War 4 beta that we put out before launch. As you can see, we've really reduced the amount of active damage as well as brought the range in from...
So distance is the right, damage is the okay. I had to double check.
Between sort of about 1300 units. So in order for a person to get a 2-shot down, they need 300 damage. You can see here that in the beta, you could roughly 2-shot down someone if you hit with all the pellets at roughly 900 units. So we are going to move into core tuning. Okay, so you can see the core tuning is very similar to the beta with a little less damage, a little less range on both ends. And now we're going to show you competitive 1.0, very different gnasher.
Holy shit.
So you can see relative to both core, the beta, and the previous Gears of War 3 game that the competitive gnasher is a very different beast. Here, it's actually getting a 2-shot down at roughly 400 units rather than the Gears of War 3 gnasher, which would have been, you know, up about 1100 units. So now we're going to show the new competitive 2.0 and 2.1. You can see we've taken the competitive gnasher at roughly a 2-shot down. We've moved out the 3-shot and 4-shot down distances, but we've kept the overall range the same. Now, one of the very important things about how the gnasher works is this point-blank lethal range. Anything inside for 265 units in Gears 4 or 256 units in Gears 3, as soon as you hit someone with a pellet that would kill them, they gib inside this range. There's also extra damage that's applied to any shots that are hit inside this range. So this means that if you hit with a full spread here, you get a damage boost up to here to kill someone. Outside this range, you're always going to get a 2-shot down or beyond, right? And this characteristic is extremely important to giving that gnasher feel of gib or not. So as you can see, there's a lot of different characters and a lot of different curves, and we hope that this has helped you guys understand what goes into making the gnasher as special as it is.
All right, so my question is, when you're looking at it like this graph, right? Right here, you're looking at this graph. My question is, what happens if you shoot somebody, like, does that, and they're already hurt, right? Because this is, like, you can 2-shot gib somebody, but do you have to be in that range? Like, that's the thing that I'm not understanding, because it gives you a damage boost to get the gib, but what if you already hurt them? Does that extend the lethality range of the shotgun? It should, right? In theory. Huh. That's interesting. They didn't show what 2.1 and 2.2 are. They only showed 2.0 though, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm guessing this video was recorded a while back. So Gears 3 was all the way like this. I would like to see what Gears 2 and Gears 1 are as well. It's crazy to me that the beta was stronger than core. I don't remember the beta being like that.
And this.
Sorry. Just want to get a little bit closer to the graphics. Wait, wasn't there a point where they show the, There we go. No, go back. Show me the... There we go. They're not smart, Ash, to think of that. So this is 2.0. So what they did is they basically decrease the damage drop off over range, right? Because this is the distance that you are from the person, and this is the up and down. So y-axis is damage, x-axis is distance. So this is less of a slope, obviously, than like this angle. So, I mean, that's the only difference between like the normal escalation and the comp as like the competitive beta playlist. It's interesting for sure. But they didn't actually get into the numbers, which is kind of like the thing that I don't... Like, I would like to know... I mean, I guess this kind of shows the numbers. So at 600 units, it's 240 damage. So... I guess... I don't know. And that's assuming that you hit every single pellet in the spread. Here we go. Here's what I was looking for. That's assuming that you hit every single pellet in the spread, so I don't know. It's interesting for sure. It's definitely interesting. What do you guys think? They said 300 is a 2-shot down. Well, no, that's... Yeah, they said 300 is a 2-shot down, but it's, your total HP is 600. Hold on, we'll go back to it real quick.
Several of the different tunings, starting all the way back at the beta. We have competitive 2.1 up on the screen here, and we're just going to use so we have a frame of reference before we go look at the numbers. Let's go all the way back first. Show me 1,600 units. This is about 1,600 units. You can sort of see how big the character is. He's sort of a little bit smaller than the reticle here. The bullets are, not all the bullets are going to hit him. We're about 1,600 units away. So let's go to, say, 800 units away.
Volume ladder?
So this is about 800 units away, give or take a little bit. You can see the drone fills now most of the reticle. And
so this is 800 units right here. This is 800 units away.
Extends above and below it. And now let's get to 400 units away. So he's almost like 3 times the height, 4 times the height of the reticle, and he fills the whole reticle. Now we're gonna go up to, say, 256, which is just on the inside of gib range, and if you pull the trigger, he gibs, right? So now let's take a look at the numbers. What we've got here is a graph of distance to damage, and a person has 600 hit points on.
Yes, so that's how much... So basically, you're starting with 600 HP. Like, instead of like a 0 to 100 scale, you have a 0 to 600 scale.
And that means that a 2-shot down is going to be 300 damage, right? We're going to start with Gears 3. What you can...
So that's why a 2-shot down is 300. Like, obviously, 300, you hit 300 again, that's 600, they go down. But you're not within... If you're not within the range of that bonus damage, then you don't get the chunk, I guess. I don't know. See, that's the part that's a little bit confusing. Like, again, if I hit somebody... Does that increase the chunk range? Or do you still have to be within? Because I feel like it does, especially with headshots, because you can get headshots. I feel like it increases the chunk range, but I don't know.
You can see here with the solid yellow line is the gnasher's damage fall off over distance. So remember we talked about 1,600 units? That's
what's up, Domes?
This distance roughly that the gnasher in Gears 3 was going to be able to do damage. It would do this much damage if you hit with every single pellet. You know, the bullets on a gnasher spread out over distance, so it's unlikely at this point.
I don't like how he says it's not unlikely. It's impossible. It's literally physically impossible. Can we get the graph back? I want the graph.
On distances.
Move your hand.
But we've kept the
All right.
overall range the same.
All right, that's close enough. So, what? Thought I heard thunder for a second.
Competitive.
Oh wait, we don't have the 2.0.
Here, it's actually getting a 2 shutdown at roughly 400 units.
Okay, so 400 units. That's what That's what he was like. He showed actually 400 units. What's up, Domes? Editing a video and watching at the same time. Thank you, man. I appreciate you stopping by the stream. Guys, for those of you who don't know, Domes is another Gears of War player and content creator. So make sure you check him out. Give him a follow. All right, so can they not show total possible pellets? What do you mean? I need the one that has the add in the green shit. Did I miss it where you added in the? I mean, I see the green right there, but didn't they do like a close up of the graph where they added? All right, here's a good picture. So, all right, see you, Centric. So this is the chunk range. The thing I still don't like. I feel like the chunk range changes, right? Domes, you might know this. Does the chunk range actually change when you damage somebody? Because they're talking about like being within 265 units is the chunk range. But they don't talk about how, like, if I shot you with a pistol, half a clip of pistol ammo, and then pull out my shotgun, wouldn't this point blank lethal range, doesn't that increase? They don't talk about that in this video, which makes me think it's not true, but like, I'm like confident it is true, but now I'm doubting myself. Like at 800 units, there has to be a total possible pellet count that you can hit due to spread. I think it depends. I don't know. That's the other thing. Like they're talking about like at 1,000 units, that's the maximum range to do what, 50 damage. I don't think it changes, but I think it does with headshots. Okay, yeah. That's what I was saying. Like you can get a kill with a headshot on the shotgun, which is technically like a chunk. I mean, it's the same effect. You kill the person. I don't think chunk changes ever. Yeah, I'm not saying like disintegration chunk. I'm saying like you can get a kill from further range because of headshots if you do more damage, which they don't talk about in here either. The other thing they don't talk about is the fact that you like the different parts of the body do different damages. So, like shooting somebody in the leg doesn't do as much damage as shooting somebody in the torso, which doesn't do as much damage as shooting somebody in the head. So like, yeah, that again, that you're right, Piggy. That's 50 damage at 1,000 range if you hit every single pellet. So how many pellets are in the shotgun? Like 9 or something like that? I know it makes that star. Is it like 9 pellets? So you're looking at like a little over 5 damage per pellet. I don't know. This is a... Oh, look, the lawnmower. Of course. You guys are picking up white noise for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. Oh, man. All right, well, that's going to be the end of this. I'll probably upload this section to YouTube. Hopefully, I mean, it does make the shotgun a little bit, make a little bit more sense. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they keep updating us with. Otherwise, we're gonna go back to Xbox. Yeah, I know you guys can hear it. I don't know why he insists on mowing the lawn.